Welcome in, college football fans. It's another episode of the Fanatic on the Fanatic Sports Network. Back for another preview. Hey, we're talking Georgia Bulldogs versus South Carolina Gamecocks. Let's get into it.
The Fanatic, where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk, you know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina, upstate, A64. Yeah, the FANATTIC, the Fanatic, where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see.
All right, fans, listen, we back in here, man. Listen, Stat Guy took a week off, but he's back up in the building to talk about his Gamecocks traveling to Athens to take on the Dogs. What's going on, Stat Guy?
Hey, what's going on, Coach? Glad to be back in the studio.
That's right, man. Hey, it's that time of year, man. You know, second, third game of the season. Normally, it's the Bulldogs versus the Gamecocks. How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'd be feeling better if things were still true back in the Spurrier days where y'all had about 10 starters suspended, but y'all cleaned that mess up a little bit. So,
hey, just a little bit. You know, we got some speeders here and there, so you never know. We might have one person out or something like that, man. But you know, Kirby's doing a decent job of that, man. So, hey, not for nothing, man. Let's go ahead and jump into it. But before we do, man, if you're new to the channel, we talk college football all the time. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. Share it with your friends so we can get this content out to more people, man. We do game previews, we do live streams, and we do weekly picks, man. So like in this video, we will talk about the week 2 recap. Then we'll talk about the Georgia offense versus South Carolina defense. Flip it over and talk about the defense of the defense of the Bulldogs taking on the offense of South Carolina and give our keys to the game and predictions. We'll give our winning predictions, but the actual point spread predictions, you can catch those on Tuesdays for our weekly pick. All right, man, you ready to do this thing?
yeah, man, let's get it.
All right, man. Listen, and we are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Try to help us get there, man. We are a little bit over 1,600. Let's do it. All right, man. Week 2 recap, man. So the Bulldogs are coming off of an easy win against a group of 5 Ball State from, I want to say, the MAC conference. Handled business. Didn't kept it pretty vanilla. I could say the line looked a little better from week 1 to week 2. Still got some improvements to do. Dominic Levitt definitely made a big improvement. He had some 50-50 balls that he didn't come down with in the first game, but he did last game. So overall, man, Dogs look like they headed in the right direction. What about the South Carolina Gamecocks, man? Y'all took on Furman last week.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Furman is a very well respected FCS program. They're ranked 6th in the country. As far as that goes, they'll be a playoff contender this year and probably get a home playoff game. And really have a good shot to win the SoCon this year. But game started off rough, kind of went back and forth. We're trailing a little bit. But the offense got it going, and we did what we should have done against Furman. I think the big thing was the changes along the offensive line, playing some younger guys. The offensive line really struggled against North Carolina, so we started playing some younger guys. They held up pretty well against Furman. We'll see what they do the rest of the year. The other cool thing was we saw all 5 scholarship quarterbacks take snaps for South Carolina, which I thought was very good. Spencer obviously had the big day, but to get to see the youth in Lenore Sellers, get to see Luke Doty, who also had a touchdown reception in the game, play back at his natural position at quarterback, was definitely cool to see a lot of guys get their chance back there.
Yeah, man, I think it's coming along. I think a lot of fans expect a lot in the beginning of the season, whereas some coaches are trying to work things out. You guys had to be more proactive with getting ready because you had North Carolina the first game, whereas, no disrespect to UT Martin and Ball State, but they're not North Carolina, you know what I'm saying? So Georgia's had that kind of luxury, but hey, this is SEC play, man, this weekend. We're opening up both teams opening up conference play. This game goes a long way to deciding who's going to win the East and represent the East in the SEC championship. So, man, let's go ahead and talk about that UGA offense versus the South Carolina defense. Now, I know a lot of Georgia fans are not pretty, let's say, over ecstatic about the Georgia offense. But let me say this. If you already had a preconceived notion of Bobo, you're probably not going to like the offense all year. It doesn't matter what we do. And for those that say we put up with this, through the 2000s, from 2000 to 2001 to 2007, Mark Richt was actually the play caller. Bobo didn't take over until 2007 to 2014, and his offenses always were ranked in the top 25. So I know it may not look good, but I just care about the result. You know what I'm saying? Our offensive line definitely needs to get more push. It'd be interesting to see what the run game looks like against you guys. Not known for the best run defense per your analysts. You always have a good secondary. So the matchup I'm looking for is the secondary against our wide receivers. I think our wide receiver cores are pretty deep, and how the different coverages that you guys can throw at Carson Beck. So what about you? What are you looking for? Like what do you want to see the South Carolina defense do against Georgia?
Yeah, the biggest improvement we have to make on defense is in the front four. The thing that killed us in the North Carolina game was the lack of push up front, giving Drake May all day long, and we just got picked apart. When you give any legit quarterback 5 to 7 seconds, eventually somebody's going to break open. And so that's the big thing this week is seeing what we can do along the defensive line, trying to get push, trying to get some pressure on Beck, maybe force some earlier throws, or at least put a hand on him while he's throwing. In the secondary, we are banged up a little bit. Nick Imamore, our freshman All-American from last year, got banged up against North Carolina. He's questionable. A couple other injuries in the secondary as well, but luckily that is a position of strength for us. And I'm kind of looking forward to those matchups as well, seeing Marcel Style on the outside lock up with some of the wide receivers y'all have. That should be really fun. As far as overall, we can't miss tackles. That's the thing that kills us in the running game is we miss the first tackle. The player to watch for our defense is Deebo Samuel.
Deebo Samuel.
No.
Hey, wishful thinking, right?
Yeah, wish we had that dude in the wish we had that dude still on offense, but no, Debo Williams. He leads our linebacking core. We also have a sophomore that was banged up a good bit last year, and Stone Blanton was a big time 4-star recruit coming out of high school. And the two of them have been studs for us in the middle of the field with the defense that we kind of run that unique defense with two linebackers and a couple nickels or stars or whatever you want to call them that different teams run. We use to our advantage where our strength is, which is in that secondary. So can those two linebackers step up and help in the run game? Or do we see Clayton White, our defensive coordinator, open it up and maybe start calling some unique blitz packages to try to get some pressure on Carson Beck? The end of the day, though, is going to be, can we hold y'all in the running game? And that's scary because y'all got the backs.
Yeah, our backs could be a little bit better this year. There's a lot of guys banged up. Dylan Bell did provide some excitement last week when he got in the backfield. A lot of people don't know he actually played a little running back in high school, so he's used to being back there. So it's not a new position for him. I'm interested to see if he gets more carries back there. Also, I think I'm gonna be on the lookout for C.J. Smith. C.J. Smith's a burner, can take the top off, kind of like a Arian Smith style wide receiver. And the past 2 years, Aaron Smith's had at least one or two big plays against South Carolina. So I think South Carolina will be keying on him. So I think if he and CJ Smith are out there, that CJ Smith may be able to open it up a little bit. And then the tight ends, we got Brock Bowers. He wasn't used a lot last game, but I think he will too take on those linebackers because I know you guys are pretty decent in the linebackers themselves are good in the run game, maybe not the total front seven, but in coverage we'll be able to see Oscar Delp is coming along, him and Brock Bowers. I just think that's going to be the matchup that we're looking for. And then Robert Thomas is learning the offense. He's getting more plays, and I think he's getting more comfortable. And just as the game goes on, man, and as the season goes on, I think those wide receivers and Carson Beck and their timing will be, get better and better. And I'm just looking forward to seeing us go against that DB room. I think if you do throw some exotic blitzes at Carson, that's what I want to see early on in the game. Or I just know that you guys won't wait to get down, you know what I'm saying, before you start doing that kind of thing. But I definitely want to see that wide receiver room go against the DB room. So go ahead.
I was going to say, and to your point though, with the tight ends, you won't see a lot of Stone or Debo in coverage. That's why we run the multiple set that we do with the secondary. It should be more of the nickel safety type guys guarding them. And I would also expect us to run a lot of zone against Shaw. We might put a guy here or there on the island against some of y'all's wide receivers, but for the most part, I'm expecting us to run a lot of zone defense to
Mm.
try to give different looks in that back end for Carson to look at.
Oh, okay. I can see y'all coming in with a game plan to keep everything in front of you, as opposed to like, because if you do play some man, I think that definitely wouldn't be beneficial for any of your nickelbacks to be playing Brock or Oscar Delp. So, but on the flip side, man, the UGA defense is looking the same as it starts the year out the same as it's looked the past, 5 years or so, just, chomping at the bit, taking pride in holding people, try to hold people scoreless, but some of the backups have given up some points against that South Carolina offense. Listen, man, Spencer Rattler has been really accurate this year. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 83% or something like that, something crazy like that with no picks. But he can't do it by himself. So I'm interested to see who's going to step up. I think Xavier Legette played good against North Carolina and, of course, Furman, but Juice Wells isn't 100%. The running back room is leaves something to be desired. So who would you want to see step up? Because it's not just going to be able to be Spencer and Xavier, and that's it.
Yeah, so obviously the big one is the offensive line, right? Giving Spencer time. If they can block, obviously, I think even if they're blocking great, our run game leaves a lot to be desired. And so maybe in total we try to get 60 or 70 yards out of our running backs and call that a win. But our offensive line has to keep Spencer upright. The 9 sacks against North Carolina kind of did us in. But for the year, he's 55 of 66. I mean, 0 picks. This is why he came back to school, was to play himself into those top 3 rounds. And I really think he's doing it. It's funny. We talked preseason. You asked me who was going to be number 2 behind Juice. And I told you Xavier Legette had that capability if he could cut down the drops and stay on the field, which were the things that nagged him in his first 3 years. But he's having a huge season so far. He's the number 1 wide receiver yardage wise in the SEC. I believe he's 4th nationally right now. But if Juice isn't a full go, we're in trouble. If Juice is 100%, then that opens Xavier Legette up even more. Maybe we get to see some more of Nick Harper, who had his first touchdown catch last week against Furman. As far as somebody that I'm looking to step up is going to be Eddie Lewis, our slot that we got in the transfer portal. We were really excited for him coming in, and not so much out of him so far. So can we get something out of that?
Yeah, I'm looking. The guys that I need to step up are going to be our young edge rushers. We got the talent, but they don't have a lot of experience, so we haven't actually gotten home a lot on the quarterback. That's what I'm going to be looking to see, because I don't want Spencer Rattler to have a lot of time back there. And if there's I guess, soft spot of the defense, is inline tight ends. If you do inline tight ends from Ball State, whether they were running an over route or just a 10-yard, 15-yard dig. We had some of our Smile Monday's not 100%, so he didn't play a lot of snaps. Played more than he did the first week. So, but Xavier Sora is coming along. He's definitely got a lot of talent, but I want to see that matchup to not let Trey Knox get off and cause us more problems in the middle of the field. So that's what I'll be looking for.
And that's a key point to bring up, because we run a lot of 12 personnel. We run a lot of stuff out of that 2 tight end set. And so if that's an area of weakness, that could definitely be somewhere that we could see them attack with Trey Knox, the transfer from Arkansas, and also the transfer we got from Florida as well, using the tight ends across the middle, especially if Spencer's getting pressure on him and needs to get stuff out a little bit quicker.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, because you guys do line up in the 12 personnel, but you haven't used the tight ends that much. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see.
Are you at all concerned with the primary use of our offense, which is the bubble screen? Because we will bubble screen you to death.
No, I'm not. Actually, I was watching some of the Furman game, and of course I watched the North Carolina game, but more so in the Furman game, you guys did a lot of East and West. I don't advise any team to go East and West against Georgia. If you're gonna get at us, because we don't have the Jordan Davis or the Jalen Carter, we got a lot of guys in that middle that are run stoppers, but they're not gonna. I ain't gonna say not gonna do it, but less often than previously get in the backfield and cause disruption, 2 or 3 yards behind. So if you're going to attack us, you need to go forward, whether it's a whether you're quick slants or inline tight ends, run some stop routes or just running the ball. I mean, I don't think you'll be able to run the ball with success over time. That's just a staple of Kirby Smart's defense. But if I was going to try to keep us honest, I would run directly at us. I wouldn't run off tackle. I wouldn't run any sweeps. I think the bubble screen game can work for y'all early, but we got some good tackling corners and they get off blocks really quick. Lassiter and Dalen Everett and Tyke Smith and Malachi is moving faster than everybody else. Why it looks like they're in slow motion. So I wouldn't advise that to be a game plan. I do expect to see it a little bit though. I expect to see at least one or two shots with Nicholas Harbor trying to go over the top, to be honest with you, especially if Juice isn't healthy. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but you know what? That leads us to keys to the game and predictions. So my keys to the game are can our running game, be sufficient enough that we don't have to throw the ball more than we want to? I think it can. But like I say, our backs have to be a little bit more like intentional with their runs and explosive. I would like to see more 10-yard plus runs. We have had a couple. I know Kendall Milton is banged up a little bit, but we got Rod Robertson and Dejan. I think Dejan Edwards should be back this week. That should help out the cause as well. Cash Jones is good out of the backfield catching, so we'll see about that. But that's what I'm looking for as far as that side. And on the other side is getting pressure on Spencer. Can we get pressure on Spencer and make him throw some throws a little bit earlier than he wants to?
When I talked to you about the North Carolina game, I said my one worry was us being gimmicky or something like that. Look, man, we going on the road trying to beat the number one team in the country. Throw all that out the window. I don't care if we run a gimmick play every single play. The key to the game is we have to win the turnover battle against Georgia. And I'm telling you right now, if we're to beat y'all, we're going to see at least at minimum 3 plays on special teams, whether it's an onside kick, fake punt, fake field goal. We're going to have to pull out all the tricks in the book on the special teams side of the ball to try to give us that little bit of edge on y'all. Because I really think we're probably one of the better units in the country when it comes to doing stuff like that. But the turnover battle and the special teams game, we have to win in both of those areas if we're going to have any shot of pulling the upset. The other big thing is I'm going to set the over under for rushing at 75 yards. And hopefully if we can get over 75 yards, I feel like we're in the game and we're going to have a shot to do some stuff in the second half. If we're closer to 25 yards, we're probably in trouble and Spencer's probably running for his life.
Yeah, and in the special teams game, I know you can't have any missteps because McCombie used the walk on for Georgia has shown that he can take it to the house, take it the distance. Whether like kickoff returns, he's averaging a big yardage, so you don't want any sweep kicks or anything like that. Maybe you're trying to kick away from him. I don't know.
Yeah,
pretty good. He's pretty good in the punt return game as well. So.
Well, luckily with that, Mitch Jeter's going to put everything out of the back of the end zone as long as we don't get any dumb, unsportsmanlike conduct after a touchdown celebration, have to kick 15 yards deeper. He's going to put everything out of the back of the end zone, so we don't really have to worry about those returns. And then obviously Kai with the punt game, everything's going to be 55 yards with incredible hang time. So I'd be very shocked if we give him that opportunity. Everything should be fair caught and call it a day. But I saw the highlights from Ball State. That dude's electric. If for some reason it's a low line drive punt that goes 55 yards, watch out. That thing's coming right back at you.
That's right, man. So I think the game is gonna go as a lot of these games have gone across college football in the first half. I think most of the scoring, most of the time, not saying every game, has been in the second half because of the new clock rules. The first half seems to be going by pretty fast. I think we'll see something like I don't know, 21-10 Georgia by halftime, maybe. And then in the second half, Georgia imposes their will just because top to bottom, I think the depth of Georgia will take over in the end. So I got Georgia winning this one, of course, at home pretty comfortably.
Yeah, look, so I mean, picking because I want my prediction to be right. I think South Carolina has a really good shot to cover the 26.5 or 27. I think it's going to be over. I think it'll probably get 28.5 by the time it kicks off. And so I fully expect us to cover. The big thing is going to be, can we take some shots early and stay with y'all? I could see this going to where we're in a dogfight in the second half and maybe y'all pull away, or I could see us getting blown the doors off the hinges right out the gate and this thing getting ugly in the first half, and then us getting a couple garbage TDs late, just Spencer padding stats, trying to make his draft numbers look better against y'all's second team. So, but I definitely think South Carolina will cover.
Yeah, if it goes the way I think it is, I think Lenore Sells will get in the fourth quarter, and South Carolina fans don't listen. Spencer's been playing good. I don't think he'll play bad Saturday, but it may not go the way you want to. But that doesn't mean that he's not the guy for the job. I did see a couple of people, even though some other South Carolina fans refuted it on social media. Some were calling for Sellers already. I'm like, look, bro, he threw one touchdown. Spencer's the dude. Calm down.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
So.
Look, he had the nice back shoulder fade to Nick Harbor, and then he had the 50-yard bomb where he dropped it in the bread basket. Yeah, but the one everybody liked was the 50-yard bomb they dropped in the bread basket. Man, I saw the same thing on social media, and I'm like, bro, I hate being a part of this fan base. Like, you got a quarterback that's probably going to break the single season passing yards record for your school. He came here when he didn't have to. A lot of schools wanted him, and now y'all, man, let Lenoris get whatever little playing time he gets this year and let him get right, and we'll roll the dice with him in 2024. Like, Spencer ain't going nowhere unless he gets hurt. Like, that's
right.
Our season goes as Spencer goes. And if you would have told me coming into this year that Spencer was 55 of 66 with over 600 yards passing after the first 2 weeks, I would have told you we're 2-0. So he cut down the interceptions. I hope he can keep that up. I really worry about the turnover battle with y'all. That could cause things to get ugly in a heartbeat.
That's true, man. So there you got it, Georgia fans and South Carolina fans. Get in the comments. Let us know what your take on the game is, what you think the score will be, and what we got, what we missed or some players you might be looking forward to. So, hey, man, don't forget to check out our weekly picks. Come out on every Tuesday, man, where we give our picks versus the spread or over under. So that's it for me, man. Stat guy, Coach Odds, Fanatic on Fanatic Sports Network. Yep.
Peace.
Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound. Let's go eat. Turn on the Fanatic. Let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gonna eat everything up off they plate?